I'm saying bye to all the lies and all the times you cried, saying that I wasn't right, yet I was right by your side. You manipulator, playing games, your friends commentators, and I don't know what you say about our private conversations, but it's got them hating thanks to all the rumors you be claiming. It's cool, I'm done with you, so they can throw you a celebration. You gon' hate it when you see me with somebody living better. I'm trying to tell you that me just doing me gon' have you jealous.
Good evening and welcome back to the program, folks. This is Chris live in Central Pennsylvania for the news at Night Owl's time. Thanks for the handful of people who are currently here. I do appreciate you being here. Folks did ask me to come back and do the news. About 40 people said they'd say they'd be here, and I see 28 currently here. So some people are fibbing. And we're back. All right, let's get to the news. Couple breaking stories since I was last looking at the news before we went live with the last program. First, there's a mad scramble to withdraw savings. That's, I think, why the question was raised at the end of my last broadcast a few minutes ago was, what are my thoughts on the 1%? You're talking about taking money out of your retirement savings. Well, I'll tell you what, it's a disaster. It's already over $210 million U.S. has been swiped, taken out of retirement funds, and who knows what's going to happen. This will likely lead to a brief surge in retail sales and economic activity in South Africa, and watch 3 months from now, we'll hear how the economy is recovering when it's not. It's simply an artificial tap that's happening here. This is not legitimate. Welcome to folks who are here. Hendo's here, De Baron, Pablo Charlie, Dylan Hombrick, Ronaldo Gillis is here, Mike is here, and Arctic is here. It's a bad idea to withdraw funds, but I don't blame people who are struggling. No, I got it. I got Arctic, and they're going to spend it in the economy. And then the Economist and the News 24 and the IOL, the people that don't know what the hell they're talking about, are going to say, "Ooh, look at this. South Africa's economy is coming back with a vengeance." It's not. It's artificial spending, kind of like when you give people $600 in the midst of COVID by burying the country in debt. Look at all the retail sales. Well, yeah, nobody can go anywhere. You just gave them money to spend. What are they going to do? Sitting at home, ordering from Amazon and Best Buy. Give me a break. Meanwhile, this is a pretty scary thought when you think about $210 million already swiped out of these retirement savings. South African Revenue Service has said its two-pot claims have risen to around 4 billion rand in 10 days. South Africans eager to withdraw from the retirement savings. They took 161,607 applications from retirement fund administrators between September 1st and September 10th, meant that they processed 18,000 of these applications per day. They can withdraw up to 10% of their previous retirement savings, capped at 30,000 rand. Then they're taxed there. So this is going to juice up revenue to the state in the short term because they'll tax that 30,000 rand. Take it out. You'll get what's left, and then you're going to spend that in the economy and juicing sales. Wow. South Africa is not a major diamond producer. It once was the world's leading diamond producer. It is a diamond producer of note. Tshwane is the world's leading diamond producer by gemstone value, with the best gemstone quality stones coming from Tshwane. Over 40%, almost 40% of the top quality gemstones in the world, 30+% come from the Tshwane mine. Russia, I believe, is still the world's top diamond producer, if I'm not mistaken, but Botswana is the top by value. Right, so that's not good. Another by-election. Now, I'm curious here. I read this story very quickly. That's why I was about a minute or two late starting this. Very curious about this. News 24 speaks to Chris Pappas about by-elections. That doesn't puzzle me. But he's speaking to Chris Pappas about by-elections, and none of them are in Umgeni. None of them are in Howick. So why are they talking to Chris Pappas? By-elections, Pappas speaks about Stop MK posters. Well, maybe he spoke at, that's why he spoke in a meeting. Okay. From the South Coast to Umhlanga, by-election campaigning will be held in KZN. DA leader Chris Pappas recently sat down with News 24 and spoke about the party's poster message. DA leader. Is Chris Pappas now the DA leader in KZN? I thought that was Francois Rogers. Did I miss something? If I did, I will sit corrected here. I thought that Francois Rogers was the DA leader in the KZN. MK party leader and ex-judge John Shlope is expected to make his by-elections campaign debut, while ANC provincial leaders Siboniso Duma and Becky Mtolo took part in campaigns on the South Coast. Okay, so maybe he's the party leader in KZN. I didn't know that. It says, in an interview with News 24, Umgeni Mayor Chris Pappas touched on the MK and EFF. Now, that's an interview, so it's not him speaking out in public. So why are they talking to him about this? Interesting. I don't understand why News 24 is contacting Chris Pappas to talk about what's going on in the province. Is he now the leader of the DA in KZN? Can somebody weigh in on that? That's news to me. Understood to be Francois Rogers. If I was Francois Rogers, I might be having an issue with this. Now, this is coming from a position as someone that has repeatedly interviewed Chris Pappas and thinks he's a brilliant mayor from Guinea, objectively, but I don't think it's appropriate for him to speak on behalf of the party in the province. Well, will Ramaphosa's signing of the BELA Bill, the education bill in South Africa, open a political can of worms? No, it won't. The DA is not going to back out of the Government of National Unity over this. They'll argue about it, and then they'll cooperate and be co-signatories in any lawsuit that goes forward by civil society organizations. So San Raul is saying that the DA has come out swinging following word that Ramaphosa is set to sign the bill. Well, it's not a surprise. They knew he was going to do it. But this is not going to change the DA's position. So cracks begin to emerge in the GNU as DA responds to Ramaphosa signing the BELA Bill. Not going to happen, folks. Jason Felix, not going to happen. The DA is part and parcel of the current ruling coalition that's in power in South Africa. They are not going to back out over this. There are far bigger issues with the national health insurance scam that the DA is opposed to, and they're also not going to back out for that. That will not cause a collapse of the GNU. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. What could cause a collapse of GNU is if the ANC has a rapprochement with MK and or the EFF. That would doom the DA, especially MK. They don't need the DA if they get MK, but they're not going to do that. Both parties are diametrically opposed to the ANC at the moment, and nothing's going to change there. Umgeni, what a name change. For goodness sake, change it. Yeah, well, Howick, another Anglo-Saxon name, not an Afrikaans or African name. Well, mixed signals coming out of Tshwane, and that's where the coalition questions Action SA's commitment after Facebook comments. Well, for its part, as I said, Michael Beaumont sent me a press release, and I broke this news that the DA National Senate had not agreed to what's going on in Tshwane. They will have to discuss it. The multi-party coalition in Tshwane believes that comments by Action SA City of Tshwane caucus head Jackie Matabane signals his party's intentions in the upcoming vote of no confidence. In a Facebook post, Matabane said the DA's golden boy would be escorted out of power in 16 days. I don't know who Jackie Matabane is, but what an arrogant ass. The DA's golden boy. What a condescending, insulting way to address the mayor of Tshwane, the only mayor in the history of this fake municipality that's ever had any success, despite the fact that all the odds are stacked against him. This is an illegitimate vote of no confidence. It's a distraction from governance. If the ANC, EFF, and Action SA would spend more time suppressing the criminal syndicates that have destroyed rubbish removal trucks, destroyed vehicles, cut down wires, if that's where they put their energy, the city would be much better off than trying to undermine the legitimate governance of a mayor who's doing his job quite well. If criminals in the GNU get a chance, how about me, says Roman Cabanac in a foolish Twitter post, which is not very smart. Controversial podcaster says he pushed boundaries to gain attention on social media, but the government of National Unity has changed his approach. So now he's part of the government. Once again, a gratuitous image of Roman Cabanac carrying a weapon, as if somehow implying that there's something untoward about carrying a weapon. That's exactly what they're doing there. Shame on the fake media in South Africa. That's from the Times. Well, the new Tshwane coalition, according to Fikile Mabulula, must serve the ANC and residents. Really? So the purpose of the city council in Tshwane is to serve the ANC? Well, of course it is. We know that. We know it's there to serve the ANC, not the residents. You don't need to put residents on there. We know better, Fikile. Don't try to mislead us. A chicken in every pot. That's what this retirement scam reminds me of. ANC will not join a coalition that will not serve its own interests in the interest of residents. Now, of course, the interests of residents has never been an interest for the ANC. The sad state, the sorry state of affairs in Hammanskraal with people getting sick from drinking water, drinking poo water, getting cholera. The sad state of affairs with townships in the Tshwane municipality. The sad state of affairs with broad daylight cash and transit robberies on Schoeman, Francis Bard, in the diplomatic quarter of Pretoria is a consequence of ANC malgovernance and misgovernance. Yes, the Democratic Alliance has led a fractious coalition that's controlled Pretoria for several years now, but not with Suze Brink as the mayor. dishonest, the ANC. Well, the judge will not budge on the Zuma case. The April trial date is set and schedules the down and removal appeal for February of 2025. Well, Jacob Zuma will be going to trial till he's nonagenarian in his 90s. EFF has weighed in on the Eastern Cape Aba Tembu King issue, calling Oscar Mabuyane's case against Aba Tembu King a frivolous abuse of power. And I'm, strangely, in agreement with the EFF. Mabuyane opened a criminal injury case on Tuesday after the king, during a public address, accused him of being one of the beneficiaries of an extortion racket that has forced some businesses to flee town and others to close down. Now, the problem is if the king doesn't have any evidence of that, he could be convicted of criminal injury. But the reality is that something strange is going on in that province, and the premier is very much front and center part of it by not addressing the problems. No DNA, just RSA. Well, Noma Tamasangwa Sitatu from the IOL, a multimedia intern, well, she's an intern, bless her heart, she's trying, writes an article about the no DNA, just RSA. I'm going to be kind to her because she's an intern. I have to say that it's very difficult to pronounce her name, but that's on me, not on her. And she has an interesting article talking about this social media trend, something we saw at the All Blacks game at DHL Greenpoint Stadium, where people held signs up, no DNA, just RSA. Now, she does some research, and she ties it back to when Trump got sick, and he said he had, he had no DNA, just USA inside himself. But she seems puzzled by the phrase. I'll be very helpful to the young intern. No DNA, just RSA means that we are South Africans. It doesn't matter if you're a Christian, a Muslim, a Jew, a Xhosa, Venda, colored, Afrikaner, Kapsa, Khoisan. We are South Africans. DNA does not matter. RSA matters. For the young intern. Just explain it to you. So now you understand. Anyway. Well, the state has lost its bid for to get the judge to be recused from Pastor Mboro's new bail application. A magistrate said she was dumbfounded by bias claims leveled against her in an application for a recusal from the kidnapping case of Paseka Motsaneng, popularly known as Pastor Mboro. She's just dumbfounded. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what bias she's shown. I haven't seen anything. Folks, 1.5 million BMWs, Bayerische Motorenwerke, automobiles recalled globally over the brake system. So you better take it seriously if you have a BMW. Let's take a look at this story. Automobile giant BMW has announced a worldwide recall of 1.5 million vehicles after potential faults with their integrated braking system. The fault could, in rare instances, affect braking pressure as well as the functioning of the ABS and DSC systems. BMW's South Africa spokesperson confirmed that 3,700 BMW and Mini vehicles were potentially affected in South Africa. They include the BMW X1, X2, X5, X7, and XM crossovers, as well as the 5 and 7 Series sedans and the Mini Cooper and Countryman. Cars were built between June of 2022 and August of 2024. Well, if you got one of those vehicles, you might want to go in and have a look at it. Racism in the K word after black and colored students were heard using it privately is now become a policy issue at the Duneveld. Now, they tried to blame it on whites, but it turned out they weren't whites that were uttering it. They made a big issue about this, and then it just kind of died off. But now it's back. 4 people aged 17 18 were suspended and scheduled for disciplinary hearings on September 17th after one used the K word on a live stream on TikTok. The Duneveld High School committed itself to work with the Department of Relation in relation to the process of disciplinary hearings as well as ongoing educational programs of rehabilitation and national identity for the school. So the school must be subjected to this because some kid on a private stream, not at the school, uttered the K word in a friendly, joking, although, not what you should say, comment with someone on a live stream. Seriously? This is ridiculous. Education MEC Abraham Foslu visited the school to engage the management team. You people just need to stop taking yourself so seriously. Trump's not trying to regulate speech. It's not a successful place to be. Yeah. Penguins rescued from St. Croix after an Algoa Bay oil spill. Yep. At least 6 endangered African penguins. Jackass penguins. 6 jackass penguins have been affected by an oil spill that was detected in Algoa Bay over the weekend, which is threatening St. Croix penguin colony. First off, what I have to say is, according to a professor of philosophy in Johannesburg, or is it in Pretoria? I forget which one it was. This professor said that the word Africa is condescending and racist. So you calling jackass penguins African penguins is racist, just so you know. Well, FIFA, the thoroughly corrupt, discredited Federation of International Football, based in the Schweiz, in Switzerland, a place where Sepp Blatter lived high off the hog for decades, despite having no skills whatsoever. FIFA has warned Gate McKenzie to keep his nose out of Bafana Bafana. I talked about that yesterday. It was inappropriate. Well, so FIFA agrees with me. Sports Minister Gate McKenzie warned that South African Football Association interference could lead to a FIFA ban. Despite FIFA laws against government interference, Sports Minister Gate McKenzie has threatened the leadership of the South African Football Association that there would be consequences if they failed to qualify for the Africa Cup of Nations and the World Cup. Wow, he said he issued a directive to qualify for two important tournaments. Unfortunately, that's illegal. Articles 13 and 17 of the FIFA regulations state that member organizations shall run their affairs without outside influence. Each member shall manage its affairs independently and with no influence from third parties. Violations of Act 13, paragraph 1, subparagraph G may lead to sanctions even if third-party influence was not the fault of the member concerned. In 2022, Zimbabwe got an 18-month ban by FIFA after the government sought to take control of the Zimbabwe Football Association. Zimbabwe missed out in the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations. The ban was eventually lifted. So Gate McKenzie puts his foot in his mouth again. Oh my goodness. Consumer prices rose 2.5% and the media are hailing it as a success. Still higher than the highest level of inflation during the entire Trump presidency. 2.5%. Never mind the fact that everything is still 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100% higher than it was 3.5 years ago. When the prices deflate, then I want to hear a story. But I can't get anything for what I used to get it for. Yep, consumer prices rose 2.5% last month, with U.S. inflation reaching a 3-year high. Do you know why it's 2.5%? Because the government is going to use that index to limit our retirement checks for civil service, well, not for civil service, for military and for veterans and for Social Security. They will limit the cost of living allowance. Well, inflation was only 2.5%, therefore you don't get any raise. When we live with 50% inflation. What a lie. What a lie. The post-pandemic spike in U.S. inflation eased further last month. It's not post-pandemic, it's Joe Biden spike. We had a post-pandemic when Trump was there. Prices didn't rise. It wasn't until Joe Biden came in and crushed the energy industry and destroyed global security that prices spiked. Trump brought darkness. Harris brought light. 14 fake writers on who won the presidential debate. Times Opinion asked 14 of our columnists and contributors to watch the debate and assess who they thought won and lost. Asked them to weigh in on the quality of the debate. Were the candidates inspiring? Well, the debate was depressing, said most of them. Harris won, said most of them. Only one said Trump won. He's probably conservative. Yeah, anyway. Trump didn't win. Harris didn't win. ABC News won. They were terrible. Harris delivers a strong punch on abortion rights. This is the Wall Street Journal? What the hell happened to this publication? President Biden missed an opportunity at the last debate to deliver a strong message on abortion with rambling and at times indecipherable answer. But Kamala Harris was under pressure to reverse that and deliver a strong answer on the issue that's key for Democrats if they want to win. Tonight she did that, speaking about the subject with obvious passion. Most Americans believe the government and Donald Trump certainly should not be telling a woman what to do with her body. Donald Trump and the government aren't telling a woman what to do with her body. State legislatures are telling people who they can and cannot murder. That's the facts, lady. Well, this is what passes for the German Foreign Office. This is when these leftists take control. This is the nonsense they come up with. So this snarky nonsense on Twitter by a federal agency. The Bundesaußenministerium. Like it or not, Germany's energy system is fully operational with more than 50% renewables, and we are shutting down, not building coal and nuclear power plants. Coal will be off the grid by 2038 at the latest. We also don't eat cats and dogs. What the hell does eating cats and dogs have to do with anything? Talk about snarky asswipes. This passes for government discourse. Why is the German Federal Foreign Ministry rebutting Donald Trump? He didn't address Germany. He did mention Germany has an energy problem. What they failed to address in the Energiewende, the destruction of the energy sector in Germany, is that the cost of electricity are astronomically high. And people froze in the wintertime when they didn't get Russian gas just 2 years ago. They failed to mention that, but they're all on renewables, with windmills that blight the countryside, with solar panels that have destroyed the aesthetic appeal of historic medieval German towns, which nobody wants to go to anymore for tourism, with still burning lignite, shutting down nuclear power plants, not because they're unsafe, but because they're idiots and bought the argument because of Fukushima. Fukushima was built on the Ring of Fire, the Pacific Ring of Fire. Fukushima was built on a fault line, and then the safety measures were not followed by the idiots that ran the plant. There are no fault lines in Germany. There are no dangers there. The plants were perfectly safe. They burned lignite. Unbelievable. Well, here we go with race hustling again. This comes from Ethan Thomas, a nobody from the NBA that nobody remembers. Ethan Thomas gets an op-ed. He's an American basketball player. Gets an op-ed in The Guardian, in which he says Tyreek learned he isn't allowed to do what white people do. What a shameful racist this guy is. The National Football League star says his fame helped him out of a tense situation, but there's little point in denying he was treated differently due to his race. He was treated differently. He was given more deference than he deserved. He was given more opportunity to comply with law enforcement than he deserved because of black privilege. The body camera footage of NFL star Tyreek Hill's traffic stop before the season opener was released on Monday. It showed a group of officers on a power trip. That's not what it showed. Exhibiting unprofessionalism, that is not true, and abuse of authority through their ultra-aggressive and combative behavior. From what I saw, they went out of their way to escalate the situation far beyond what was necessary. Really? So it was the police officers who continued the conversation on a cell phone rather than answer the police officers. It was the police officers who rolled up the window, talking smack and being disrespectful to the police officers instead of being compliant and respectful. It was the police officers who then got the window rolled back down, who then refused to get out of the car and still talk smack. No, it was Tyreek Hill and his black privilege, his black supremacy. Yeah. Speaking about the incident on Sunday, he posed pertinent questions. What if I wasn't Tyreek Hill? Well, then you probably wouldn't have been pulled over, because most of us don't have $400,000 cars and drive like maniacs in a construction zone going 60 miles per hour and then refusing to comply with law enforcement when they approach our vehicle. So that's what would have happened if you weren't Tyreek Hill. His point being that if he was a black man who wasn't famous, would the situation have ended a lot worse? Surely the answer is yes. Surely that's horseshit. And surely you're nothing but a race hustler, Ethan Thomas. What a shameful, shameful person. So let's take a look at what are the contributions of Ethan Thomas to The Guardian. Okay? They list him as he played in the NBA from 2001 to 2011. He's a published poet, activist, and motivational speaker. Who does he motivate? Racist and black supremacist? So, Tyreek Hill. April, social media and gambling have made death threats routine for college athletes. And who do we have a picture of? Angel Reese. Orlando Magic spat at the face of black players by supporting Ron DeSantis. What? From dress codes to equality, Phil Jackson's exactly who we thought he was. Oh, so now he's calling Phil Jackson a racist, despite the fact that he coached teams full of black players to NBA title after NBA title, and no one ever complained about him. If the NBA is serious about progressive values, then Robert Sarver has to go. Why? Serena Williams' unapologetic greatness is a beacon to black girls everywhere. There's nothing here that's news. It's all black supremacy. Steve Kerr, the moral compass at the heart of the Golden State Warriors. Wow, that's one thing that's not black supremacist. They made the world look at me. Jacob Blake on his gratitude to NBA stars. Where are the white players that he's nothing here? There isn't a single white player that he's Not a single white player that he's actually talking about. Inhumanity on the border fence. NBA players to question if the U.S. has changed. What the hell does that have to do with anything? This guy is a pure race hustler, and he gets a platform in The Guardian. You had tyreeks of arrogance. He's clearly a black supremacist. That's right. And misleading people. Yep, there you go. And that's the world we live in, folks. And that's the news. I went through the news pretty quickly there. The Penguins are like South Africa more. YouTube blocked all chat. Yeah, there was no chat for 10 minutes. I saw that. Nobody chatted for 10 minutes. Yep. Although it says, well, no, it wasn't that long. People came in here. Anyway, yeah, YouTube. So Ronaldo was here. I don't know if he's taken off now, if he's still there. Anyway, but folks, thanks to the folks who've tuned in, and thanks for those who watch my content. I had 2 videos today that I did on September 11th, the 23rd anniversary of the most horrific and vile attack on humanity that took place in New York City, in Lower Manhattan, in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, and at the nation's capital. But I did 2 videos, one that I recorded last night when I saw that the lead story on September 11th for News 24 was a smear piece devoted to attacking Roman Cabanac. So I made a video, an objective video, in which I called into question many things, including statements by Roman Cabanac. And that one was published about 1 o'clock in the morning, 1:30 in the morning, I think it was. Then I did a video this morning because a few people commented and said, "This is why are we talking about? There's more important things in South Africa to talk about." No, there's nothing more important to ever talk about than free speech. Every right, every privilege, every existence emanates from life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And free speech is essential to all of those. Wow, Paulie, where have you been? Ronaldo's still here. I don't know. I didn't see him chatting. Anyway, yeah. So without free speech, you have nothing. You have nothing. All right, I'm going to show you a video. I'm going to give you my reaction to this, okay? This is from the UK. All right, I want to do this earlier. So this is Mercia, okay?
Hi.
Okay, so this video is in the UK. I don't know who the gentleman is. He sounds like he might be South Asian, British accent, hard to figure out. You know, you got some Brits with a British/South Asian accent, which is kind of a weird mix. I don't know if he's white, if he's brown. I don't know what he is, but you got 2 people following him. He turns around and wants to know why people are following him. They keep asking why he's filming in public. They identify themselves eventually as police officers, and they harass him. And they threaten to arrest him. Anna Muliman, thank you. Anna, thank you for being a subscriber. And they do eventually arrest him. And what they do is criminal. So we're going to put this on. I'm going to put myself on the smaller camera here. Let's get that up. I need to put the screen up. We're going to listen along for this. I'll probably stop it a couple times as we discuss what's actually happening here. This is horrific. This is what's happening in the UK. They are following a person trying to build a case against him who is a law-abiding citizen and take things out of context. This is shameful conduct that's going on in the UK. And these are 2 white Karen police officers who are doing this. So let's go ahead and get this up real quick here. There we go. Okay, so let's watch this. And there's a constable's there. But let's listen to this. It's about 3 minutes, 2 minutes and 58 seconds. It's edited. And there's also some graying out. I don't know why, but let's look at this.
Hi. I noticed you were following me. Is there any reason?
Is there a reason why you're filming?
Yes.
Okay, what's happened?
Why are you following me?
So he says, "I noticed you're following me. Is there a reason why you're following me?" And she says, "The reason why you're filming." Well, he's in public. That's a public street. You have a problem with that? Then don't be in public.
Me?
Why are you following you? Why are you filming?
Sorry?
Why are you filming?
Why are you filming? Because I can. She pulls out a badge identifying she's a police officer. The other one is arrogant.
Police officers.
Yeah.
Show the number. I didn't see it. 1527, and you are?
I'm also at the police station.
Show the number.
Why are you filming?
Show the number.
Why are you filming?
Show.
Okay, so he has a right as a citizen to ask her. Rosalind Cameron Dow, thank you for subscribing. He has a right as a citizen in the UK to ask for her police identification number, to verify that she's an actual police officer, because people could be accosted by people claiming to be police officers. So he's asking a legitimate question: what's your number? What's your badge number? And she arrogantly refuses to answer his question repeatedly. Twice now, she has said, "Why are you filming? Why are you filming?" He asked a direct question of a law enforcement official. They work for us. Law enforcement works for us. They have responsibilities. One of them is to properly identify themselves to citizens. They're undercover police officers tailing him on a public street. He's committed no crime, by the way. No crime has been committed here. Listen to this arrogant shithead. Twice she's already done this.
The number.
That's the question.
Are you a PC?
No, I'm a DC.
I feel like you're a DC, so you need...
He asked her once again, answer the question, she says. So he says, are you a PC? No, I'm a DC. Yet to identify herself.
Give me the number.
My card number's 926.
Thank you. Is that...
6 times he had to ask her as she tries to elevate the situation to try to arrest him, looking for an excuse, accosting him by trailing him on the street to find an excuse to arrest him. Why? What is he doing?
Any reason why you're following me?
Is there any reason why you're filming?
Yes.
Okay.
As a police officer, she has to tell him if he's suspected of a crime. There's no basis for the police to follow you unless they have a warrant from a judge, the same in the UK, same in the US, a warrant from a judge or suspicion that you've committed a crime or about to commit a crime. She has not identified that. She must identify to him why. She's failed to do that. Thankfully, this guy knows his rights, but he still gets arrested.
But why are you following me?
Because you're filming.
Am I being detained, guys?
No, I'm just asking questions.
Am I free to go?
No.
No, not at the moment.
So I'm being detained?
Information from
I'm
yourself.
asking you questions.
No. Am I being detained?
Well, asking questions about why you're filming.
And I just told you. I just told you.
All right, if you're not being detained, he can walk away. But you want to guarantee they would have roughed him up and arrested him if he walked away? So they keep trying to play this game. We're asking questions. Detective Constable, Ants. You have a police constable, which is the lowest level. That's who the chick on the right is. Then you have a detective constable. You have a detective sergeant. You have a deputy chief inspector, and you have a deputy inspector. Anyway, so she's a mid-level copper.
What is the public interest? I'm making a video over the police. Am I being detained?
You are being detained for questioning, yes.
Okay, so now she claims he's being detained. Now this escalates. They just told him 4 times, each of them said multiple times, that he's not being detained. He could have walked away. Now she says, you're being detained. Want to guarantee that if this wasn't on video, he would have been arrested already? And then we would have said that I wasn't detained. They would have lied and said he was being detained.
No.
I need to tell me which section you detained me under.
No, I've given you enough.
No.
You've got 2 uniform colleagues.
All right, so he said, I need to know which section of the law you're detaining me under, which is his right to know. You must disclose that. And she does it later on. But she doesn't cite a section of the law. She just makes shit up. So now she's saying, I've given you a chance. No. You haven't given a chance. You failed to follow the law. This is arrogant behavior. And this is what cops are doing in the UK. This is how people wind up in prison for not violating law. The man who was at a rally committed no criminal offense. The judge said so in his trials. He said, well, you've not committed any offense, but it's still necessary to remand you into custody because you were present. Because you were present? Seriously? It's like the Soviets.
Yes.
We've given you identification.
You're the detaining officer?
So we've told you who we are.
Yeah.
I'm DC 926 Joanne Bills. What is your full name and my office?
All right, hang on. Okay, I've heard what
What is your full name? That's what she wants. Why does she need his name?
you said. I heard absolutely
So
everything.
what is your name, please?
Let me just...
She has not told him he's wanted under suspicion of any criminal activity, and she demands his name. Now, I'm not a legal expert in the UK, but you're not required to provide your name in most states in America when the police ask for it. You're not required to carry identification anywhere. They can't mandate that. And you're not required in most states in America to provide your name and details unless you're suspected of a crime, which a law enforcement officer clearly articulates to you. I'm not an expert in English law. I believe it's the case there. He does know the law better than her, Charles.
Response to her, 1 second, yeah? I've heard everything you said.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you the detaining officer? And which section you detain?
Look at her bouncing back and forth, all cocky and arrogant because she's got power over a man. That's what this is all about.
Detaining me under?
I'm detaining you under the Terrorism Act at this moment in time.
Which section?
Oh, so he's a terrorist. He's a fucking terrorist walking down the street in broad daylight, filming in public. Because that's what terrorists do in every given day in the middle of frickin' nowhere with no viable targets here to cause mass casualties. He's being detained under the Terrorism Act. This is an out-of-control, fascist, totalitarian government, and either the jackbooted, brown-shirted thugs wearing bras and long coats representing the Nazi fascist regime of Keir Starmer. That's what this is. Yeah, no. The audits, I've seen those audits. Those First Amendment audits. They're brilliant on TikTok.
Okay. Please give me your name. Are you fine to give me your name and address? Because the next step is to arrest you. It's as simple as that.
Okay, so the next step is to arrest you because you failed to give me your name. She did not specify what charge. She said under the terrorism code. She didn't say Section 32. You must do that. As a law enforcement official, you must cite the code. You can't just say, I'm going to arrest you for being a terrorist, which is what she's just done. Now she's escalated, threatening to arrest him if he doesn't disclose his name. Lee Lowe just gave 140 Rand super chat. That's awesome, Lee. Thank you so much for that. Yep. Hands in pocket. Yeah. And, she would already been beaten in the streets. Yeah, in Chicago for sure. Yeah, he's South Asian. Yeah, I thought he was South Asian, Charles. That's what he sounds like.
Hang on, okay. Which section? I need to.
You need. Failing to give me your name and address.
Officer, listen to what I'm saying.
She's
You need to tell me which section you detained me under.
Oh, look, are you refusing to get... Simple as this. Okay, you've got two options. Give us your details, or you get arrested.
Well, actually, the real options are here. Cite the legal code or shut the fuck up. That's the real situation here. Thank you, Lee, for the super chat. So, yeah, Monique, 100%. Those First Amendment audits are brilliant. That guy gets arrested all the time. And he does a brilliant job. We're finding that a significant portion of law enforcement officials don't even know the law that they're supposed to enforce. Why are you making a sad face, Pablo, at me? Are you angry at the video? Are you angry that I'm covering the story? Or are you just angry at what happened here?
So, do I have to give you my details?
Yes.
Under which law?
Under the policing law. If you refuse...
Under what?
If you refuse, I simply...
Under the policing law. Okay. That's pretty broad. Does it include dumbass cops who don't know what they're talking about? Is there a section there? Wow.
Arrest you, not a problem.
Okay, Section 43 of the Terrorism Act does not require me to give you my name and address.
He knows the law. Section 43 of the Terrorism Act. He knows it. I don't know what's scarier, the fact that they don't know or that he's a South Asian that does know. Ooh, that was a stereotype. It's a joke. Relax. Anyway, yeah, Section 43 of the terrorism law does not require him to disclose. There's actually a section of the law does require him to do that when they state the charge. But anyway, he's spot on. Look at him. Look at him. Look at him. He's flustered. But he gets arrested anyway.
Yeah, hang on. If you have reasonable... Hang on.
Are you refusing your name and address? Because the next step is simply to arrest you. We're asking you your personal details. You're refusing to give them.
I don't have
to.
to.
Be arrested. So, you're under arrest. It's handcuffs, please. You're covering for me.
Yep, they're going to handcuff this man. They're arresting him now. She's given the time. It gets better, folks. Hang on. Wait till you see what happens here.
16:25 hours, and you're under arrest. You don't say anything. It may harm your defence if you do not mention my question.
Oh, that part she knows. Apparently, she's watched the British Law and Order. If you don't have to say anything. If you do, if you don't say anything, it might harm your defence. I love that. The British. If you don't convict yourself through self-incrimination, it might harm your defense. I love that. If you refuse to answer questions, it might harm your defense. No, not answering questions will help your defense. How backward is that? You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. Do you understand your rights? We've all watched Law and Order and Cagney and Lacey and Starsky and Hutch or something along the way. You know, in America, you have the right to not self-incriminate. Oh, my goodness. No person shall be held to answer for a capital, otherwise infamous crime, unless on a presentment of indictment by a grand jury, except in cases arising in the land and naval forces or in the militia when in actual service in time of war or public danger. Nor shall any person be subject to this for the same offense to be twice put in jeopardy of life or limb, nor shall be compelled in any criminal case to be a witness against himself, nor be deprived of life, liberty, and property without due process. So you are protected by the Fifth Amendment of the United States against self-incrimination, and here we tell you, you have the right to remain silent. Anything you can say can and will be used against you. In the UK, they say you have the right to remain silent, but anything you don't say could be harming your defense.
Later on in court, anything you do say may be giving evidence.
All right, I'm not going to be aggressive, officer.
Smart move on his part. Now, here's the mercy of police, and this. Look at this terse statement with virtually no contrition whatsoever. They do apologize. But this is happening on a daily basis. This guy knew his rights. Other people get emotional. Notice how he says, I'm not going to be aggressive, officer, and he just put his hands out so he can be arrested. This looks like one of those First Amendment audits, whatever they call it in the UK. But listen to what she has to say.
Over video circulating where our officer spoke to and detained a male.
This is Superintendent Rebecca Love. I know you can't see that, the Professional Standards Department. These are basically internal affairs.
Whilst our officers deal with hundreds of interactions with members of the public on a daily basis and do so professionally and fairly,
she also looks a little uncomfortable in saying this. She's bouncing around in her chair. Sit still and tell us. And sit up. She's also sitting, she's like this in her chair. She's not sitting up. Look, I mean, that's an unfair criticism, but it just shows that this isn't taken seriously. If it were me, I'd be sitting at the table, I'd be leaning into the camera, and I'd be earnest. I'm not criticizing her. I'm just saying that it comes off better that way.
Recognise on this occasion we got it wrong. Having reviewed the footage, we understand this situation could have been handled better, and we are genuinely sorry for this, and we wish to issue an apology to the individual involved.
Well, it could have been handled better is an understatement, and the fact that he had video footage of it is the only thing that saved his backside. Otherwise, whoops, let me get rid of that, sorry. Otherwise, he would have been screwed. That's the only thing that saved him is he had video footage of it. If you have a camera phone and you're pulled over, start recording. I'm not saying put the phone in a cop's face. I'm just saying start recording. Even the audit makes a difference. Yeah, DJ Audits is a great channel. Monique, is it on YouTube? I've seen it on TikTok. The TikTok videos are unbelievable. Yeah, his hands look white. Yeah, exactly, Charles. That's why I said he looked. I'm not sure where he was because it looks very white. Yep. Yep. This guy's auditing Britain, but DJ Audits also has a great channel. Yeah. There you go. How's about a little coin? Oh, yeah, sure. Feel free to super chat, guys. By the way, for those who didn't see it, we have now been recognized as the greatest of all time. There's a goat back there with GOAT acronym right there on his hoodie, on his sweater, on his pullover. Yeah, wearing the sunglasses, the shades. I am the greatest of all time. Oh, on YouTube. Thank you, Monique. No, I've not seen on YouTube. I have seen on TikTok. I've been on TikTok for a bit now, but I have seen on TikTok. Absolutely. His hands look white. Yeah, the hands do look white. That's why I said I wasn't sure. I'm not going to presume. It's difficult with the accent. It could be a South Asian. It sounds South Asian, British. There is a South Asian British accent. There are actually a couple of them if you have a good ear. And the hands look very, very light, though. So anyway, also sounds like, kind of a little down market English white, too. So who knows? But whatever the case is, yeah. I mean, it's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. They just get away with all kinds of crap that they shouldn't get away with. So we've seen the Swalwell. Now this one I want to show you this picture here. This is precious. So this is against Seattle. She's playing. So this is where Caitlyn Clark is dribbling. She does a Steph Curry-esque like move. She dribbles. She steps back behind the 3-point line and then launches a three-pointer. The reaction of the coaching, the benches of the opposition. This is awesome. Look at these faces like, oh crap. Here we go. She's going to make that. I mean, this is going to be viral, this one here. Look at that picture. Very perfect form for a point guard. Other than that, it's a one-handed shot. It's pretty even more impressive. It's a one-handed shot, but she's just behind a 3-point line. Look at the coaching staff. Look at the chick on the left-hand side. Oh God, she's going to kill us again. The one behind her, they're all stiff-faced. Caitlyn Clark is the real deal. Oh my goodness, Caitlyn Clark is the real deal. I'm loving it. I'm so into the WNBA and the Indiana Fever right now. I would never have rooted for an Indiana team. Wow, it's just incredible. She's 6 feet tall and she is just amazing. Pablo, Charlie, what'd you say? People get mad when I say supporters are a bunch of, well, probably because they take offense and think you're running racial stereotypes. That's probably why they get upset. Yeah, Karen times 10,000. Yeah. Yeah, you're right, Charles. I knew he knew the law. I've watched the video. Yeah, he definitely knows the law and called her out on it. That's for sure. Yeah. Lee, you changed your avatar. Okay, cool. Yeah, no, the audits are brilliant. I love them. But it's not some activity that I get into because the one guy does it in the U.S., maybe it's DJ, gets sometimes a little antagonistic. He doesn't remain as calm as probably should. Light Rain says, all the Colonel Wyatts of the world, you're truly the greatest. Well, thank you, Light Rain. That's not a very ringing endorsement, but thank you nonetheless. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, so... But yeah, people are pulling their money out of South African retirement system. It's a bad move. Parliament to revive Julius Malema's bill on nationalizing the Reserve Bank. What? Parliament's Standing Committee of Finance will host public meetings on private bill introduced by EFF leader Julius Malema. Oh my goodness. Rolex watches, gifts, and $2.5 million in cash. That's how the state alleges that Bowie was influenced. Wow. Wow. Parliament's Standing Committee on Finance will host public hearings on a private bill introduced by EFF leader Julius Malema. Malema introduced the bill into the 6th Parliament, but it lapsed along with dozens of others that could not be processed before Parliament dissolved for the May elections. Parliament's Rules Committee and Speaker of the Parliament, Toko Dadiza, recently decided to revive all the bills that had not been considered. In a statement released today, South African Reserve Bank Amendment Bill seeks to, among other things, amend the act to make the state the sole shareholder of the shares of the bank and give powers to the Minister of Finance to exercise the rights attached to shares on behalf of the state. It further seeks to give the minister the power to appoint directors on the board instead of board members. Wow, this is another disaster. More communist control of the private sector. Now, the Reserve Bank is not, it's a private actor, but it's not a private company. And it looks out for the interest of South Africa and its currency. My goodness. Not an avatar. No. The term applies to your image. It's your photo. Gotcha, Lee. Your image, as put into the circle there by YouTube, is an avatar. Well, it's not. Doesn't mean it's a cartoon character. What the heck's going on here? I got a message here. Let's see if it's not important. Oh, come on. Oh, it's just nonsense. Just nonsense. Sorry. Anyway, so the whole thing is called an avatar. I know you probably think it meant a cartoon, but no, it doesn't. Yep. Any news on Pravin Gordhan? No. I saw a defense of him today. There was a defense of Pravin Gordhan, but I never saw that he was in the hospital. Oh, he's been hospitalized. You're right. There it is. That's yesterday. Wow. Huh. His health crisis intensifies, according to this. Okay. Former Minister Pravin Gordhan is admitted to the hospital. Family assured that although his health has declined, he's receiving the best care possible. Illness is not disclosed. Huh. He's a pharmacist. Yep. All right. Well, no updates other than he's in bad health. A struggle veteran whose career as a politician and activist spanned more than 5 decades before his retirement. It's about 4 decades longer than it should have. Pravin Gordhan. Yeah. Boy, James Earl Jones. This is CNN. Not anymore, man. Final stage cancer, I heard. I wouldn't be surprised, Francois. Yeah, that's something that no one's going to be able to keep quiet. Yep. Wouldn't surprise me. Yep. Without the camera, it wouldn't matter how much he knew the law. Exactly, Mike. You're right. That's exactly why I recommend people record it. If you record it, you're protecting yourself and the law enforcement. Yep. Pablo Charlie's not here to be liked. Well, yeah, that's fine as long as you don't spew racial hatred or things like that. I'm not accusing you of doing that. I'm just saying you're welcome to be here with differing opinions. We draw the line on racial hatred. Anyway. All right. What else we got here? Yeah, no, look, I don't wish ill health on Pravin Gordhan. Not at all. There was a time I actually thought he was pretty good in government, and I actually praised him on occasion. But his last years in government under public enterprises were a disaster. State-owned enterprises was a disaster. Yep. Yep, a disaster. So we got a couple people who are trending on the borderline. N is one of them. He's about to get banned forever from the channel, which we do to very few people. There's a couple other people who are doing the same thing, about to find themselves banned. Clever communist is still a communist. You are correct, Arctic. I was praising results, not worldview. And that's a difference too. Anyway, yeah, so epic day today we've had, folks. Have we not? Had a very interesting day today. The video, so I've been at this quite a while. I've got my radio show tonight. The good news is I don't have to lead tonight. I can be second fiddle. That's why we have 3 hosts. Let me see if this has been updated. It doesn't look like my YouTube channel updated. Okay, it has. There we go. So the Ramon Cabanac story is at 4,800 now, but not adding any subscribers, which means that my own viewers are watching it, which I'm grateful for. But we want new viewers to watch the stuff too. The other one, 1,400 views. So that's slowing down. But it is, after all, 8 o'clock at night. So let's keep that in mind. Let me see what's going on with my live streams because they keep limiting. Yeah, there you go. Limited. Yeah, every time I mention the Chai comes, I get limited on my streaming. So this one here from yesterday. So let me take out that. Oh, I want this. Okay, continue. Save. Okay, trim. Okay. All right. Yeah, so they keep limiting my ads whenever I talk about the Chai counts. He was kind of okay at SARS, but yeah, exactly. That's my view. That's my view, Arctic. That was a time at disaster at Mango, SA Express. Yep, sunk 2 airlines and gutted 1. Correct. Love the Colonel Chris team. Good night. Thanks, Lee. Thanks for being here. We're all going to wrap up here in the next few minutes anyway ourselves. Yep. It's lots of suffering first. What's that? Hands. Okay, I already covered that. So sorry, I'm going back and looking at things I already covered. Yeah, but the debate last night, man, oh man, oh man. Man, oh man, oh man. Anyway, there's nothing here. I was looking. Does the youth in the USA have sentiment of the tragic and devastation? Not really, Lynette. Not really. It's mostly people who were already teenagers or older, usually adults already by 2001. Yep. Yeah, it's like today. And people just lose sight of things. Like, for instance, the club manager, bless her heart, she sent a message out to the officers and said, are we having a ceremony today? And my quartermaster responded and said, yes, there'll be a ceremony to lower the flag to half-mast. And I said, okay, great. So I said, what time are we doing it? Because we open, the canteen opens at 11 o'clock, the restaurant, and bar opens at 11 o'clock for people to come in. And it was 10 o'clock, about 10 o'clock when this was going on. And I asked, what time are we doing it? And I got no response. And so I called and I said, what time are we doing it? Oh, we're not. I said, well, we are. I'll go in. So quick shower, brush the hair, brush the beard, threw on my dress shirt with my ribbons and my medals and my rank and my black trousers and my fellies. And I drove in and I grabbed the staff and I grabbed the patrons who were present, including veterans. I said, look, you can order your drinks now if you like, and your food if you want, but we're going to close the restaurant down and the bar down for a few minutes to do a ceremony, and you're all welcome to participate. And they all came outside. All the staff that were working, all the patrons came out. We had a small ceremony, and I did a present arms. We lowered the flag, present arms at the half-mast, and I thanked everybody. It was lovely. What people forget. People forget. Listen to Kamala's no-no plan. What executive orders do you think she would sing on day one? I think she'll probably sign an executive order saying it's legal to have abortion, but it's illegal. So, but she'll do it. Yep, no doubt about it. Think Harris will win the U.S. election? I don't think so, the scientists, but a lot can happen between now and November. And they can also, with the mail-in ballots, we've seen what can happen there. So, yeah. September 11th seems very low-key this year. It is, because the Biden regime doesn't care about September 11th. They've never cared about it. It's not going to get them any votes, so they're just ignoring it. But they make a big deal about Donald Trump being invited by the Gold Star families to come participate in the wreath-laying ceremony on the anniversary of the Biden debacle that cost 13 soldiers their lives. They made a big deal about it, including Kamala Harris lying about Donald Trump and stolen valor. Yeah, and lying about the whole situation. But yeah, whatever. They're just scumbags. Okay, well, that doesn't affect the economy and immigration. No, it doesn't. It doesn't. Those are the two issues. The real issue should be her competence. You know, she lied last night. I'm for fracking. She said that. I'm for fracking. No, she's not. No, she's not. Dylan says, good looking. Well, thank you for that, Dylan. It's very kind of you to say. Very kind of you to say. Oh, my goodness. Oh. Yeah, the youth here we don't really, I don't know people that address things in that fashion, the youth. But no, they don't really pay attention. They don't really care. Just don't. So unchanged, illegal immigration, no economic recovery, and no end to wars. Correct. And continued theft. And more importantly, the continued burying of this country in debt. No tax breaks, tax increases. Don't forget that. But that'll have to go through Congress. So we'll see what happens if the cowards in the Republican Party stop it from happening. She got her name right. Okay, well, I suppose that's fair. She did get her name right. What is this? Gareth Cliff says, I'm sure I'm not the only one in the world who's seeing a trend. All the fame, money, influence in the world can't compete with cultivating, living a simple life, and creating. Creation is the closest thing we'll ever get to divinity. David Beckham, who retired, shared images from his farm life. So Beckham's a farmer. So a former world rugby guy from the UK is a farmer. Good Lord. Oh my goodness. I'm not impressed by that. Not impressed by that. Yep. Anyway. Yep. All right, folks, let's wrap it up here for the Night Owls. Thank you all for tuning in. Be sure to hit the like button. I appreciate you coming in for this live stream. We've had about 11 minutes average. I refer to herself in third person, Kamala Harris, often. Yeah, it is weird. It is weird, but it's a way to repeat your brand, and that's what she was doing. It wasn't about answering questions. It was about just like, I have a plan. See, the big attack on Kamala Harris is she has no policies. She has no plan. And that's the big criticism of her. And it's a legitimate criticism. It's now 52 days. She hasn't held a press conference. To be fair, she had a debate last night, so not last night, but the 51 days prior to that, nothing. And the key thing that should have been focused on last night is she has no plan. Trump tried to do it, but he ham-fisted it, did it poorly. She has no plan. So what does she say repeatedly? I have a plan. And what does she say her plan is? Tax breaks for small businesses. Well, she doesn't tie any conditions to that. She just says $50,000 for small businesses. Okay, well, I have a small business. Give me $50,000. And then she talks about giving money to people to have kids. Well, that's wonderful for illegal immigrants who tend to have more kids per family and will benefit from this, even though they're criminals, than indigenous Americans, Native Americans. Not the ones on reservations, but all of us who are Native Americans. Repeat through her earpiece. Yeah, no, that's probably true. She'll give you $50,000 and take back half in taxes. Yep. So all she said, I have a plan. Notice she said it like 3 different times during the debate. I have a plan. She has no plan. And she repeated the same thing. Tax breaks. Well, one's a tax break and the other is a grant. Because people getting child earned income credit for child or child credit, a credit is not a tax refund. The government pays you if you haven't paid enough taxes in. It's like the earned income credit. It's utter nonsense. Yeah, it's just stupid. These are stupid people, and stupid people fall for stupid things. That's the bottom line. Alrighty, folks. Yeah. Oh, she didn't talk about price gouging, and fixing food prices. There was no debate, no substance to this debate. I blame Trump and I blame ABC News. I don't blame Kamala Harris. She doesn't want to talk about policy. She doesn't want to talk about real issues. And I made a list of those issues weren't even talked about last night. Let me find that real quick because I'm drawing a blank right now. But last night in this so-called debate, there was a host of policy issues that were never talked about. Where's it at? Come on. Let's see one more page here somewhere. Here you go. Not addressed. The First Amendment and her position on censoring speech, including calling for the speech of the former president to be censored. Her role in censoring American speech on social media platforms during the Biden regime. What role, if any, did she play in that? Afghanistan was mentioned, but it wasn't focused on the way it should have been. The deficit was never mentioned. Her role as a border czar was never fully examined. These are issues that weren't even addressed last night. There's a whole host of others. Instead, ABC News set Donald Trump up, and he was dumb enough to fall for it. So you've been quoted as questioning Kamala Harris's race and ethnicity. Do you regret that? Again, could have hit it out of the park. I didn't question her ethnicity and race. And they would have been like, but you did. No, I didn't. I was accosted when I accepted an invitation graciously to attend the Black Journalist Convention in Chicago, which the vice president was invited to, but she didn't go. I went there, and the first thing they did is they said, so what do you think of Kamala Harris? Is she black or Indian? This is not an issue. Why are we discussing this? She can be whoever she wants to be. This is America. You can identify as whomever you want to be. I mean, look at Elizabeth Warren. She's a Native American. Yeah, poor ladies have to get on an airplane to fly for late-term abortion. They don't have any money for flights. It's nonsensical, her whole nonsense. The fact that 16 minutes of the debate was devoted to abortion, he should have said, why are we discussing this? It's done and dusted. It was unconstitutional. The Supreme Court set right the erroneous ruling by the Berger Court, an activist court, in 1970, and it's back where it belongs. The 10th Amendment specifically prohibits this power to the federal government. It belongs to the legislatures in the states and or the people, and that's where it resides now. Also, Kamala Harris has said that abortions are illegal. That's a lie. She called them Trump abortion bans. There's no abortion bans in any country in the state, any state in the country. All 50 states and the territories still allow for abortion. Some have attached conditions. Some have made it more restrictive, but every state allows abortion. Done and dusted. No, he has to start talking about illegal immigrants. My goodness. He thinks that's going to win the election because it won it for him in 2016. It will help, but you've got to address real things, man. All right, guys, that is going to be it. There's an hour. Thanks for being here. Have a good one. I need to catch a little shut-eye. I was going to go for exercise, but I think we get some shut-eye. White middle-class female vote is the problem. Well, that's why Donald Trump should have said that. My answer would have addressed white middle-class female issues, would have addressed the real issue. It's not something. She lies when she says Donald Trump is going to ban abortion. He has no authority to ban it. And he sort of went there, but he confused the issue by bringing in student loans. Well, that's just like they try to, forgive student loans. They can't do that. It's not legal. Well, that's true, but people aren't smart enough to get that. Just tell them that it's done and dusted. The problem is resolved. It's at the states, which is what my position was all along. The states should decide, not the federal government. There you go. Yeah, Project 2025 got like 10 minutes too, which was ridiculous. It's not even germane. It's not Trump's policy. Trump did answer that well, and he did get her a couple of times, but he basically was poorly prepared for this debate. He should have seen this stuff coming. Anyway, I'm disappointed in Trump's performance last night. Anyway, that's going to do it, folks. Cheers, everybody. We'll see you tomorrow or tonight. I'll be broadcasting live on my other YouTube channel at Real Chris Wyatt, the Common Sense Conservatives. The link won't be posted until right before. Well, maybe I can, because I can't do it until I'm in the software. So it'll be right before the hour, 7 p.m., 1 a.m. South Africa time. If you want to watch that, Common Sense Conservatives, you can actually see us on camera. Cheers, everybody. Thanks for being here. Appreciate it. I'll take care, and always a pleasure. Thank you.